I'm Amanda, and today I wanted to talk about um, depression and what it is and what it feels like. Obviously, it can be different for different people, but for me, what depression feels like is like a weight on my chest, and um, it can be very physical. Um, it feels like an ache in my body, and it can make me feel very tired and like it's difficult to get out of bed. Um, it can make me feel like I'm run down and like it's difficult to do day-to-day tasks like go to work, like care for my children, um, like simple things like load the dishwasher or take a shower. I've suffered with depression for a very long time. I've been in and out of therapy for probably about a decade. Um, I've been on and off various medications to help with it. Some therapists have been better than others. Some therapy plans have been better than others. Um, I've been, in different spots myself mentally to help me deal with it, at times better than others. But it can just feel like being in a fog, and not quite equipped to deal with the day-to-day things like going to work or taking care of yourself or dealing with friends and family. Um, it can feel like just being a part of a conversation is difficult. It can feel like those things are very exasperating. Sometimes I feel like I want to scream, like I want to run away. For me, social anxiety is a big part of my depression. I have anxiety as well, and I can talk about that separately at a different time. But for me, social anxiety is a big part of my depression. So often I will avoid social interactions when I am feeling very depressed. So um, I won't pick up a phone call, even if it's from a loved one or someone that I care about. I'll tend to avoid phone calls. Sometimes I won't answer a text message for hours, even days on time, because feels like it takes so much energy to be able to do that. So often I will put off those interactions for a long time because it feels like tapping into this space where I have the energy to be able to do that is just very difficult. Being able to pull myself out of that mental fog space of feeling sorry for myself is difficult to do. Um, my depression isn't always the space of like, I hate myself. I want to kill myself. I know for some people it's like that. I have been in a place before where I have been suicidal. Again, not everybody suffers with depression like that. Not everybody's depression looks like that. In high school, there were definitely things that I was dealing with that exasperated my depression, and made it more difficult to deal with. And again, these are very difficult things to talk about, but I've made a commitment that I don't want to sugarcoat things. I want to talk about what is real, what has happened. I want to tell the truth. I've made a commitment that I'm not going to use filters in my pictures. I'm not going to use filters in my videos. So what you're seeing here is real and unadulterated and untouched. And what I'm going to talk about is going to be the same thing. I'm not gonna make concessions for things. I've made some mistakes in my past. I'm still making mistakes. I believe that we're all on a journey, and that we're faced with choices every day, and that every day we have a chance to make a new choice, and that if you've done something that you're unhappy with, that you can change it, and that we're always, evolving, and we have a chance to make new choices. So, there have been points in my past where I have been, because of choices I've made, substance abuse, where my depression has definitely escalated, and I have been suicidal. Um, I'm not now, but so I'm not always in that space, but there definitely are points, where I'm very low. And so it's hard to pull myself out of that mental fog of like feeling sorry for myself. It's not always like that, but there are times where, I am feeling very sorry for myself and like, oh, what was me? The depression, and again, it's different. It can be very different for different people. I suffer from what is called major depression. So, again, it can be different for different people. But for me, that means that my depressive episodes are not short lived. They tend to be pretty long reaching, and they tend to be there kind of all the time. I do take medication for it. I do see a counselor pretty regularly. And we do have an action plan. And I can show you at some point, from being in therapy for many years, I have a lot of different strategies that I use to help deal with my depression and with my anxiety. So when things are getting really bad, I have a support system of people that I can reach out to if I'm feeling really, really low, like if those suicidal thoughts do happen to come up, which again, I want to reiterate, that I'm not in that space now, but I have been in the past. So I do know if that does happen to come up, that I have a network of people around me that I can reach out to. And I do have a list of strategies and things around me that I can utilize. So if something bad like that comes up, or if I'm feeling really down, like let's say, I do have a job that I go to. I don't work full time, but I do work part time. I'm not a stay at home mom. I do have kids, but I do have a job. So if I'm having a day where it's like, man, I really feel like I can't get out of bed today, but I do have a job. Obviously, I need to get out of bed. I need to be able to get up and help get my kids ready for school. Get them to the babysitters, get them on the bus, stuff like that. I have a variety of these different strategies that I need to be able to do, or that I can do. So it is, for me, it can be a daily struggle. There are times where things are going really well, and it tends to, for me, cycle. So sometimes it can kind of look like a roller coaster. Sometimes I'm doing really good and I'm really high, and it can be tempting in those times when things are really good to be like, yeah, I'm doing really awesome. My strategies are working really well. I don't need to take my medication right now, or I'm going to cancel my appointments with my counselor. But I know from my past experiences, and having dealt with this for a long time, I'm not doing myself any favors by doing that. So again, like, I've made a lot of mistakes in my past, but that's not something I should be doing, because I have done that before, like, oh yeah, I'm doing really awesome, I'm gonna go off my medication. And so I've learned the hard way that that's a mistake, because I'm not doing myself any favors by doing that, because then I do tend to crash. That's the bottom part of the roller coaster. And then because then when I'm not feeling so awesome and I hit that bottom part, like, then things don't go well. And so then when I hit like a really hard day where I feel like I can't get out of bed, And then if I'm not taking the medication, which helps me to get through those really hard days, then I don't have that extra boost on board to help me get through the really hard times. And then I really, really struggle. And then thankfully, I do have these support systems that I talked about, those friends and those family members in place that I can reach out to and be like, help, I'm having a really bad day, to help me get through it. But having that medication on board just really kind of helps me be a little bit more stable and helps it look less like this and helps it look a little bit more like this to help me get through the depression. So this definitely wasn't like an end-all be-all video of what depression is like for me all the time, but it's just kind of like a little intro into the fact that yeah, I do have depression, and just kind of a little bit of like what that looks like for me, and just the fact that it is there. And I've talked a little bit about like some of the other things about what's going on there, and I can definitely talk about those more in other videos. If you guys want, let me know. If you're interested, I've mentioned counseling and my support system, and like my list of strategies, and my medication. So definitely, if you're interested in any of those, let me know, and we can touch on those as well. I'm kind of just getting like this channel up and running, so I'd definitely be very interested to hear from any of you guys what you'd be interested in hearing about. So yeah, let me know. Again, I'm Amanda, unapologetically Amanda, and welcome. We'll see you in the next one.